really fun. And it was a phenomenal experience to write because it took me into a deeper understanding of what these 7 sayings are. And these 7 sayings contain a blueprint, a guide for your transformation in everything in life, great or small. You can turn to these 7 sayings and they will move you with grace and ease into a full surrender and ultimately into a resurrected, more glorious, expanded being as yourself, happy, joyous, and free. That's what these 7 living words do for you. So the first one that Jesus says is, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The first step on your journey is forgiveness. The first step we must take. And that's really cool to me. It's like, do the hardest work first. Take the biggest step first. And the thing that is so profound about this is you can't move forward carrying unforgiven burdens and resentments. It's not possible. So whenever you're moving into an expanded consciousness, this particular story says to us, forgive. Forgive and cleanse. And most important, forgive yourself. Because truly, that's all that forgiveness really is about. Is forgiving your own, releasing yourself from the judgments and the resentments that are blocking you from your glory and your good. The world out there is going to do what it does. It's always going to do what it does. You are the one that attaches and makes stories up and builds resentments against it. So the cleansing of your consciousness sets you free. And the tool that Jesus instructs us to use, the first tool that we pick up along our journey is forgiveness. And whenever you fall, wherever it appears that you fail in your life, that becomes the most holy, most sacred spot on the planet. Because that is the place where forgiveness can heal. That's where a separation can be healed. A wound can be renewed, restored. A broken bone can be put back together through the practice and the power of forgiveness. And the great news about this first word, he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He turns to a higher power. You yourself do not and cannot and will not, don't even try to do the forgiveness work. It is not yours to do. That's the good news. Happy Easter, people. Right here. Right here. You ask for a higher power to forgive through you. Let me be a vessel. I can't change the story my mind is telling. But Father, forgive me, forgive them. Let forgiveness flow through me, cleansing me, retelling the story, renewing my mind. That's what forgiveness does. It renews your mind. And it is the first step that we take along our journey of crucifixion to resurrection. So where in your life is unforgiveness blocking you from knowing your greater freedom? Where are you holding on to a story and making up another story on top of it that says, I got to figure out how to do it? Release that story. Go straight to the freedom and simply ask. The way will be clear. You will have a transformation in your mind that you will never be able to predict. You will never, once you get to the other side and forgiveness prevails, you will not understand how you got there, but you will look back and all you will say is, praise the glory of God, because I am free. The second word is, the second saying is, today you will be with me in paradise. Jesus says this on the cross. So here's the scene. He's hanging there. And to his left is someone else hanging. And to his right, someone else is hanging. And I'm just in my mind, because I'm kind of silly, I just imagine going, hey dudes, what's up? They're just all hanging out. Metaphysically, they say that the person on the left represents the past. The person on the right represents the future. And when he says to them, you shall be with me in paradise, what he's referring to is that the past and the future must be released in coming to the now moment, because the paradise of God resides now. This is the only place that it resides. And so to the extent that you're looking to the past and afraid and frozen, and to the extent that you are looking to the future in fear, this is where you land. Crossed out, unable to move. And so the story says, in order for you to move forward, you've got to release the past. You've got to release the future, or flip it around. Bring the goodness of the past into the now moment. Bring the future thoughts and hopes and of anticipation into the now moment. And now, in our transformation, the beautiful thing when we're moving through changes, rebirthing. When we're moving through it, we're so conscious, aren't we? We're so in the present moment. You can't even think too much about the future because you're so much in transformation. Any thought that you have might be too dangerous or might influence the way that you're going too much, and we don't want to do that. We want to hold to the now moment, and in the now moment you'll discover that you have everything you need to take the next step. All that you need right now in your rebirthing, in your becoming, is here. And so we consciously release the past. We consciously release the future. And in the present moment, he says again, he says, today you will be with me in paradise, the kingdom of heaven. Paradise. Now, here and now. The third word, the third saying that is spoken is, woman, behold your son, behold your mother. I think that's a weird one, isn't it? When I first looked at that, I thought, I have no idea what that means. But I went within, and I did some studying and research on it, and it's quite lovely, actually. Because what is happening, he's speaking to his mother and his friend down he's up on the cross, and they're down on the ground. And he says to them, woman, behold your son, behold your mother. And what this speaks to is right relationship. As you evolve on your spiritual journey, and this is very important, very, very important, and a lot of people miss it at this point. You are being called to give up any belief that you have a biological family, or you have these people, and those people aren't your family, and those people go over there. You are to give up the separation and realize that there is a oneness occurring. And as you evolve spiritually, you must move into a way of incorporating everyone that you see as your brother, as your sister, as your mother, as your father, as your beloved. He says, behold. Isn't that a beautiful word? Behold. Hold them as yours. No longer, as you say yes to spiritual evolution, are you allowed at some point to walk down the street and see someone in pain and turn away and think, that's not me. Everything you see is you. Every person becomes yours. Everything that's happening is yours. Do you get the shift in consciousness around this idea? Behold your mother. Behold your brother. Behold. Release the ties that you have made up about this one's mine, that one's mine, this is my lover, you're not, this is my partner, you're not. Release those ties and release yourself into the oneness, the connectivity, and you will discover a love that surpasses and includes the relationships in your life. Because of the ego, your fear says, oh, now they're just going to melt away. I'm not going to have that. Incorrect. Don't get silly. You're going to be lifted up into a higher consciousness of love where you still have those relationships that are a preference, that you share your life with in different ways, but you begin to lift up the way that you see the world, the way that you see others. Your joy is their joy. Their joy is yours. Your pain is their pain. Their pain is yours. And you move in that consciousness. It's a dynamic shift. It's the third step along your journey. And it's a necessary one to have a complete transformation. The fourth one that he speaks to is, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I love this one. I love this one. Because it speaks to our human condition. Imagine a tunnel. And the beginning of the tunnel is your crucifixion, if you will, the beginning of your transformation. And you have to move through and come out the other side for your resurrection. And in the tunnel are the 7 posts that you have to move through. So, my God, why has you forsaken me, is right in the center of the tunnel, the darkest spot. The place where you can get confused, like, do I go back or do I go forward? Because the light almost looks the same. And there you sit in the dark night of your soul. This is the most precious place to love yourself. And this is where we judge ourselves the hardest in the world. And yet this teaching here, this story says, acknowledge. Acknowledge the doubt. Acknowledge the fear. Acknowledge the fact that we feel forsaken. Bring that up and offer that up. Do not build a home in the city of doubt by any means. You don't want to land there. I know some of you even have buildings and real estate in that city.